This is your girl, Crystal Lauren, the Next Level Slayer, and this is my channel where I bring you strategies, opportunities, and ideas to take your business, your money, and your mindset to the next level. Well, if you're looking to go to the next level, this is an episode you don't want to miss. Stay tuned.
It's more stories, y'all. Hey, y'all. It's Nikki Moore, your host of More Stories, a platform where I will be presenting fascinating people. Through my journeys, I've had the honor to meet all kinds of human beings. And what I know for sure is that everyone has a story to tell. And today, I have another fascinating guest, and she has a story to tell. Crystal Lauren Cornell is a divorcee and mother of a 20-year-old son. She has worked in the area of accounting for over 15 years. She's been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. She's an artist, a business consultant, a forex trader, and an internet marketer. She was on the advisory board of the Moreno Valley Arts Foundation. She's been recognized in local magazines and newspapers for her artwork. She has a YouTube called Crystal Lauren, the Next Level Slayer, where she provides tips, strategies, opportunities, and ideas to take your business, your money, and your mindset to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Crystal Cornell.
Hey. How you
What
doing?
up? What up, lady? What's going on?
What's up, girl? Glad to be here. Love what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for, agreeing to come on my new podcast, More Stories. I'm honored that you've decided to occupy the space with me and share a little magic with my audience.
Yes, indeed.
So Crystal and I, as affectionately called Chris, because this is my homegirl, y'all. We go back a long way. We are truly family. We are close friends. So I'm going to enjoy this episode here. I wanted to, like I say in my platform, present fascinating guests. And what, the bomb thing about this is that many of the people that are around me, my family, my friends, my close friends, are fascinating to me. So, I didn't have to look far for guests. I could just think of the people that I grew up with or the people that, I'm close with. And, I had a ton of people that I could present on this new podcast.
Yes, definitely. I can definitely agree with you on that. You have a lot of fascinating people in your circle. I know them as well, and all the interviews have been so amazing. So I've been loving the stories.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a lot of information today. As I spoke about your entrepreneurship in the beginning of the outro of the intro, I want to get into that a little bit, and I want you to educate the people and empower the people, and give some good content on that. But let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about you and how you got to where you're at now. As an entrepreneur and a busy person, what gives you inspiration?
What gives me inspiration is my son, your godson.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me inspiration to do whatever I can to keep going and set a legacy for him, and keep, not want to give up. There's been many things that has occurred in my life that has wanted me to, just give up. I've been on this journey of building a legacy for a while, and sometimes you just want to stop. But I think about him and what impression that's going to leave on him, and not wanting to let him down, and instill it in him as well. And he's already on that path of entrepreneurship because of me, and his dad
Hmm.
are both business owners, and he got the bug too.
Right,
He
right,
got it
right,
early, and so that's what inspires me to really, do what I do.
right, right. Oh man, yes, Godson, I love you. If you when you listen to this, God, mommy, love you. Yeah. Chris, what do you wish you had known when you were a younger version of yourself? Like, what would you have changed, or done different, or better, or not done?
I wish I would have cared less about what people thought of me. Um, I think that because growing up, I had a illness, a condition where I wasn't as athletic as other kids. I had a lazy eye. I was skinny. I mean, I wore glasses, so I got taunted and teased a lot. And
Right,
that planted a seed in me of always caring about what people thought of me, and which led to me, being doubtful of myself, and second guessing my self worth, and that went on for a while, in my years. So that is which what I wish, regardless of all of that I went through, I wish I could change or not care about, because that kind of just continued on into my adulthood, with selection of men that I dated and all of that. And, not making moves that I should have made because I'm thinking about what somebody is going to think about it. So that's
right.
one thing I definitely wish I could go back and change.
Right, right. And so, I know we were having a conversation of, I don't know, a few years ago, and you mentioned something like this, and it dawned on me that I'd never really thought about that you had been bullied as a kid. Like we all were bullied, but you really told me some things, and I was like, wow, like you were truly bullied as a youngster.
Yes, yes. I mean, when I say I was bullied, but I was also one that would stand up for myself and say something back,
Right, right,
which ended up in me having to fight them after school.
right, right. Me too.
So, and I did fight them.
Right,
So, but it was still sad for me because these people, always wanted to do that, fight me, or, talk about me or say these things, but I still was not afraid to defend myself. And I also had other people that were my friends that did not treat me that way. So,
right, right,
yeah.
right. Yeah. And you grew up in Chicago. Tell the people you grew up in Chi-Town.
Yes, I did. I'm from the Shy. I Yes, 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 yes. I love
I
my
love
city.
I love, you know what? I'm from Los Angeles, grew up, born and raised Los Angeles slash Inglewood, but I love Chicago people.
Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me that.
I
Yeah.
love Chicago people. I'm an honorary Chicagoan. I listen to Chicago stations and I look at Chicago content. I love the swag. I love the coolness. Most of the people I know that actually were born and was raised in Chicago to a certain extent are always cool people. Tell the
Hmm.
listeners what it was like growing up in Chicago.
Wow, growing up in Chicago, whew, it was so fun. It was very community like. And it was like when you grew up, just like anywhere else. I mean, some neighborhoods in LA, which the neighborhood I grew up in when I moved to California, was sort of like this. But this was like everybody, it was so many kids on the block that was my age. The parents commingled together, sat on their porches and, talked to each other. And we would walk for miles to a park, and or get on the bus and go to the mall to meet boys.
Hmm.
We had and also in the neighborhood I lived in, we had multiple people that were in like singing groups
Oh
where
wow.
where
we had different people being new addition in the neighborhood. So
Mhm.
so we were all enter talent shows and compete against each other, pantomiming or lip syncing to new edition, doing their dance moves. So it was a guy group that was like that had their new edition, m- me and my friends and my sister group, and then there was another girl group that had their group. I mean, it was so much fun. We had block parties. Block parties is when the whole street is closed off and everybody pull out their grill, like our parents pull out their grill and start queuing. That was like more on my grandmother's in my grandmother's neighborhood. They had one every year and they would block off like 2 blocks, would all be out with games to be played and food, and it was just so much very community oriented.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always heard of that. Growing up in Los Angeles, some parts of the neighborhoods we didn't always do that. Some parts, but
Yeah.
you used to tell me that about Chicago, and it always
Yeah,
seemed like
then
it
the
was
house
awesome.
parties, like
Mm-hmm.
somebody would have a house party in the basement,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how
With
you.
the red light.
Yeah, with the red light, and without a red light, and or in the attic, it just would depend. I remember, so it that gave you the opportunity when you were young, before you could go to clubs, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to go and party with people older, a little bit older than you.
Right,
Your parents would let you go to the girl down the street that was, a couple of years older than you, let you go to their party because they knew their parents.
right.
And then there was a little teenage club that they had in the neighborhood that was like really in a building, where they had the little disco light and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
it was just so from blocks. And I mean, you would not just be friends with people on your block, you would be friends with people blocks and blocks away from you, around
Right,
the block, across the other side of the main street. I mean, everywhere.
right.
Everybody like knew each other because we all went to the same elementary school, and then some went to the same high school as well. So
Right, right. Wow. This is kind of like a segue into my next question. What was your favorite memory?
my favorite memory of being young is going over my grandmother's house. My grandmother Flores, you met her. She
Mm-hmm.
passed away. It's 3 years now. Doesn't seem like it was that long. She lived till she was 93 years old.
That's right.
And we would go over her house and spend a night. And spending a night over her house, first of all, Sunday dinners, or even when we didn't spend a night, we went over there almost every Sunday. Everybody, all my cousins and my uncles and aunts were all there. And but spending a night at her house, her neighborhood was fun as well. Her neighborhood was the neighborhood that had the block parties, and there were a lot of people in that neighborhood that was, people my kids my age. But spending the night at her house, I just remember sleeping in her bed. Her sheets would be so crisp and clean because she used to work. She was worked in the environmental services at a hospital, so she made the hospital beds for
Right.
many years. So I mean, she made her beds at home the exact same way. They would be
Wow.
so tight when you get in it. It just feels like you're getting in a hotel bed.
Right. Just snug. Just so
Just
snug and clean and
snug
crisp.
and fresh and clean. And but when you woke up in the morning, like when you sleeping and you just wake up, you smell her breakfast cooking.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
she would be in the kitchen humming hymn songs, church hymn songs, or singing, not just humming, singing. And oh my God, that is a memory that is always is going to stay with me. Yeah, because that
Yeah.
was really warm and loving. And you wake up, your breakfast be ready. She wasn't the type of grandmother that be like, go wash them dishes, and she would just do everything. And
Right.
And you
Yeah.
could just go get dressed and go outside and play once all, everybody would kind of get up early and come outside and sit on their porch, and you'll go to the neighbor's porch and sit down on their porch and chit chat and laugh. And then she'll have lunch ready. And you
Right.
come in and eat lunch, and then you go back outside, and then you go
Yeah.
back in and eat. Yeah, that
Wow.
is my favorite memory.
Yeah, when you talk of waking up and smelling breakfast, it's nostalgia for me too because I think of that with my mother. That's kind of how my mother was too, like just waking up and smelling that bacon.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I would smell. Yep.
So yeah, in the same spirit, think back when you were a kid. What was your most traumatic experience?
My traumatic would be coming home. Well, first of all, it would be the taunting and well, when I was young, I had a condition that where I grew tumors all over my body. I'm getting real personal here, and they would grow on the nerves. So I've had to have surgeries throughout my, adolescence.
Right,
And I was in a lot of pain from those tumors, and I couldn't sleep at night. So when the pain got that bad, that's when they would have to go in and take out the tumors. So at early age, I've had multiple surgeries. So that was traumatic. And then the next thing would be when I was 19. This is when we worked at National Business Academy together, and I
right,
came home, and my mother had attempted to commit suicide,
right, right,
and thank God it wasn't successful. But it was very, very traumatic to see her in that state of mind, and that would be the most, I would say, the most traumatic, even over going through all the pain. But you know that I went through, as physical pain and emotional pain.
right,
That I would say topped it off for me. Is the beginning of a journey with my mother's mental illness that she was later diagnosed with schizophrenia.
right, right. Yeah, and through those traumatic experiences, they shape and mold us, right?
Yeah, exactly. It definitely does that.
Yeah,
That it has. I can
right,
definitely say that.
right. Chris, what is one common myth that people have about you?
I would say that I get a lot of, you know, Crystal is strong. She can handle that. I would say people think that I can handle a lot. Some people, maybe not everybody. Some people, like my sister and maybe you, people that's like really, really that I share my emotions with would know
Mhm.
otherwise. But I guess people think that way because I don't share my emotions with many people, not even like my mother or father actually.
Right,
They
right,
know me because I'm their child, but as far as discussing, what I'm feeling, any pain that I'm feeling, that is something that I only share with, like you or my sister,
right,
and really nobody else. That's it. I can
right,
honestly say nobody else.
right,
But
right,
people can tell when I'm feeling a certain type of way just about how I'm acting. They can tell. But some people in my family just think, oh yeah, Crystal, she's strong. She can do it. She'll be okay.
right,
No.
right. It's funny that you are stating this because another guest that I just actually interviewed mentioned the same thing about the perception that people had of her is that
Hmm.
she's strong and that she doesn't show emotion. And it's interesting that that's such a connection for us as African American women that people do have that perception of us that we are so strong and that we can handle this and we can handle that and a lot of times we can't, but we show people this so we can, put on this certain look, I'm speaking for myself,
Right.
but in many instances, I'm very vulnerable. So it's just interesting that we all kind of are sharing those same type of journeys.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I think, I listened to that episode, and, what we're saying, that we were raised to be that way because
Hmm.
our parents were that way. And,
Right.
and it's kind of embedded in us, unless some people just don't have the ability, to do that. But those, like my mother was like that, of course. I mean, I just had a conversation with my brother where, which, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about, but my mother, for the first time, he heard her cry.
Wow.
And he's 40. I've never heard my mother cry, and I'm 50.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that really, affected him because he's never heard her cry before. And
Right.
again, that's just how she was raised, because I know my grandmother was like that as well. So
Wow.
it's a
Yeah.
generational, I don't want to say it's a generational curse, but it kind of is.
Right, right. Exactly. Exactly. I'm a big, me, I'll cry in a heartbeat. So,
Yeah.
I'm a big cry. I'm a baby,
My
but
sister's like that too. So
right.
yeah.
But you're right, because when I think of my mom, of course, funerals and things like that, but I did see her cry a lot. I did not see her cry a lot, but, and it is kind of a generational thing. So, yeah, that's fascinating.
Mhm.
Um, you know, to segue into my next question, I get asked a lot because I have a lot of good girlfriends. I have a certain amount of good girlfriends that I'm still very close with.
Mhm.
And you and I have been friends for over 30 years, not just, associates, but close friends,
Right,
family.
right,
And a lot
right.
of lot of sisters, young sisters, they don't have that. I ask, like, family members, where's your girlfriends at? And they always tell me, I don't have no friends, women
Mhm.
are this way, women are that way, I have more male friends, and I hear that's a theme sometimes. But I've been honored and blessed, because it's nothing but God, to have keep friends. And so why do you think that we stayed such good friends for so long?
I would say that because we always been able to relate to each other so
Right.
well. When we have a conversation about whatever is going on with us, we're either thinking the same way
Right. Right.
or we can relate to each other. We spent a lot of time together when we were young, when we were in our 20s. I think
Right.
we were together almost every day, almost basically. I was at your house, or we were out
Right.
having fun somewhere.
We got our own place together, our first place
Yes, we
together.
lived together. We lived together. That was no problem.
Right. We
And
party together.
we partied together. We talked on the phone all the time, throughout the day, to say, "Hey, this is what happened with this person," and just laughed. And
Right.
we laughed and together. We've cried together. We have done a lot of. We've been through good and bad times together over
Right.
all of those years, and have been able to share emotional parts of us with each other, because you know, we respect each other's. I would say their thoughts or their feelings, or how we respected each other as far as their opinions, and we never had any arguments before, ever,
Right. Right.
ever. So even when I left California and moved back to Chicago, we still talked on the phone all the time, like we were sisters.
Right.
And I was
Right.
gone for 8 years.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So that is a bond. That is bonding. We
Yeah.
created a bond.
You said something earlier. You said respect. I think that's a key component to the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we've been friends, is that the mutual respect for each other. You're who you are. I'm who I am, and I think that's what's missing. I think in relationships between women, it's just
Mm-hmm.
the respect of just, that's who she is, that's who you are, and you just kind of come together and you respect each other and you respect each other's space and each other's families, and
Right.
yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
judgment, no
No
judgment
judgment.
or criticizing
Right,
or anything like that.
right,
Our energy is on the same path. We on the same energy,
right,
most
right,
most times. So,
right, right, right. No
and
judgment. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Right.
that's
So all you young sisters out there, get you some friends and respect them and stop judging.
right. Stop talking about them behind their backs,
Right.
and
Stop being phony.
because just when you talk about people behind their back, some people feel that energy that you're that person, and
Right.
even though they don't know you talking about them, they have a feeling that you are that type of person that do that.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
that energy, follows you.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of energy, Chris, you're a busy person. Um,
Yes.
what do you do to self-care? How do you stay so busy? How do you stay involved in so many things that you're doing and still kind of stay self-centered?
Well, I listen to a lot of positive content. I watch less and less TV now as I've been getting older. I rarely watch TV. I'm usually listening to some type of positive content on YouTube, whether it's something that is going to help me mentally. I stay on top of my mental health by doing meditation, um, doing making it a habit of doing daily routines that is going to keep me in alignment each day. I set an intention for each of my days. I do a routine where I do a meditation that I set daily intentions on how I want my day to go. If I want to have an amazing day, I do. It's something Ayala Van Sant has done before. She on one of on her Ayala Van Zant Live My Life. She had taught this to somebody on that show where you tap your energy points, and you tap out areas, bad habits that you have for yourself, habitual thinking. So if you want to have an amazing day, you want to tap out anything that is blocking you from achieving that. So she done that something like that before, and that is a routine that I do every day surrounding my energy, making sure I have a good day. I set the intention to have a good day, and when something start going wrong with that day, then I can remember that, okay, I set the intention for this to happen. But it limits those type of situations from coming toward me when I
Hmm.
do that.
Right.
What else I do is I set up an atmosphere around me where as soon as I come home from work, I'm turning on a scented oil lamp. I'm turning on some jazz. I'm
Hmm.
lighting some candles. Um, I'm getting my energy, my environment in a um, calm, peaceful environment that I want to feel in. You know,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Getting that positive energy cracking when you come in the
Yes.
house, right?
Soon as
Yeah.
I come in the door. So before I leave in the morning, I'm doing something. And when I come home, I'm doing something.
Right.
And when I go to bed, I'm doing something. When I go to bed, I might listening to some binaural beats, where affirmations have it playing in the background when I go to sleep. Um, Scriptures when I go to sleep. I do things that is going to just keep me in an alignment place all throughout the day.
Right. Yeah. Um, that is so fascinating, and I'm thinking that maybe in some of my next episodes, you can come on back and kind of talk a little bit about that, of maybe teach the people a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about that, of how they can take their thoughts like that to the next level, because
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be so helpful. So we need to
yes.
offline talk about that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It
Yeah.
has helped me so much. It has to become a habit for you. Then you'll start noticing the difference because um, it took me a while to get to the place that I am with it. Because when you have other things negative going around you on a great daily basis, which I had, when my mother was living with me, and
Hmm.
what I was going through with her, with
Right.
that kind of just would suck the life out of me. So I had to come up with something to help me manage that
Right.
energy. I had
Right.
to.
Yeah. Um, Now I want to get into a little bit about your entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
because, as I stated earlier, I want this platform to be not just about presenting and interviewing people about their life, but I want to educate the people. I want to empower the young sister that's interested in becoming a entrepreneur. I want to empower that young brother that's interested in being a business consultant or a forex trainer or internet marketer. Um, what advice would you give someone wanting to get into business ventures?
I would say, don't be afraid to make connections with people. Put yourself out there. Start networking amongst like minded people that are in the area that you want to go in. Um, that way, when you make the connections with people that love that do the same thing that you do, or they're business minded, or start going to events, networking events. I go to networking events on offline and online. I talk to so many people and that I have things in common with, that if an opportunity comes up can possibly, make me money,
Right.
then I have a connection with somebody that I can go to and say, "Hey, what do you think about this business?" They've been in it before. Um, that way, if someone asks me questions, I get a lot of people that email me, "Do you know about this company? And have you heard of this company?" And I
Right.
usually have heard of it and know something about it, or know somebody that's in it. I can, so doing that is very, very important. Building up a network, so you can, have resources for whatever business that you want to get into. And if you need help with something, you can be connected with somebody that may know somebody that can help you with whatever business that you're trying to start.
Right. Right.
I would say
Um,
that's number one.
right. Right. And so, what do you do on a daily business to grow as an entrepreneur? Like, because I know you got to have the grind. You got to, as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, you got to work on the business every day. What do you do to kind of constantly grow as an entrepreneur? And then tell the people what a forex trader is, because I think that's another thing that's really fascinating to me, because a lot of people, they don't know what a forex trader is. They're
Right.
not, especially our people, they're not into
Yes.
investing and things like that. So, that's another thing. If maybe one day we could come back on the show and talk a little bit about that, educate what
Hmm.
that is. And
Definitely.
so,
Definitely.
yeah.
I definitely think our people need. It's a lot of out there ways to make money that our people do not know about, especially in these times. That they can need to create other streams of income in, especially with all these businesses having to shut down and lay off people. Even my job have laid off people, and my company is considered essential.
Hmm.
They even let go of people, and they're not rehiring new people either. So, but what I do daily is I connect with people. I see what's out there. What businesses are out there that people are doing. I stay on top of watching what's out there, ways to make money, and I find ways to educate myself in various types of businesses. You know me, I've been in so many businesses since I known you, but it's not, and some of them I might not stay with, but at least I know how to run it and know what to do. And if somebody, that's what brought me to being a business consultant, because if somebody want to start an online boutique, I know how to tell them how to do it. If
Right.
somebody wants to know how to sell, uh, what, being a Mary Kay, I know how to, different things. I would know how to educate somebody on how to do it, how it's ran, what the business concept is, what the environment of that company is. And then, basically just I spend my days educating myself. I would
Right.
say that. That's what I do on a daily basis, educate myself on what's out there.
Yeah.
Forex trading.
Mm-hmm.
Forex trading is just like trading on a stock market, but it's the foreign exchange currencies. So when you but that business is $1 billion. Um, it's bigger than the stock market actually.
Right.
So forex trading is actually, you have the US dollar and the Japanese yen dollar. You're trading against those things. So if the US dollar is doing better than the Japanese dollar within a particular time frame, then you're placing a bet, what you would say a bet. You're placing a trade saying, I think the US dollar is going to do better than the Japanese yen within this 24 hours. It's going to go up. Or vice versa. If I think it's not, if I think the US dollar is going to go down versus the Japanese yen, then I'm going to short it. So it is basically that. The same thing is, but the stock, you can't short and sell a stock in that way. That's why the forex market is more advantageous in that in trading on a on a daily basis. Some people day trade stock, but again, it's a little bit different. There's other different ways to do that. Like you
Yeah.
said, we would definitely have to have another segment
Yeah.
on it
No, for
because it's
sure. No, that's what I'm
very
thinking because
interest,
it's
very
fascinating.
detailed, things that people can do to make money on both sides, the stock market and the forex market, cryptocurrency market. There's so many markets out there that is people can get access to, and like I said, educate themselves on how it works.
Right, right. So we definitely gotta consider doing something offline because I think we can educate the people.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you believe there's a winning formula for for becoming a successful entrepreneur?
Winning formula. I think the winning formula is in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the mindset. If you have start a business and you have a lot of other things going on in your life that takes your concentration away from it, or it brings negative energy into it, or if you have a fear of a scarcity mentality surrounding money, or fear or surrounding losing money, if I get in this business, am I going to lose? Then more than likely you're going to lose, or you're going to make it and you're going to lose it.
Right, right.
The
Yeah,
formula is to have your mindset in a space where with that you don't have the fear and you don't have a scarce mentality, that you're never going to, whatever you lose, you're not gonna, there's no more for you to gain.
right, right. The mind, the
The
mind,
mind.
the mind.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Fun question. A really fun question, Chris. What are the
Okay.
three things you would bring with you if teleported to a deserted island?
That is a fun question.
That's a loaded question too.
Yes, it is. I'm like, okay, how can I answer this in a clean way? That's what
Right, right. That's why I started laughing. See, listeners, we on the same energy path because I was
I
laughing.
know. I know. I definitely would bring a man with me.
There you go.
My man. Let me just put it out there. My man.
Your man, your man, your man.
If he listening, or his mama listening, the sister listening.
Right,
My man.
your man.
Not just any man.
Right, right, right.
Man, I would bring my son with me if he wanted to go.
Mhm.
Man, my son. And man, some money.
Some money, some money. Well, why you need money? You on a deserted island.
I don't know. I guess you're right. I don't need. That's why I think about money all the time. That's right. Do I need the money? Maybe I can plant it and it'll grow some more. I don't know.
Right,
If it
right,
comes back, if I get to come back, then
right, right,
on a deserted island, I would say my man, my son, if he wanted to come, I wouldn't want to force him to do so. And I guess the same thing for my man, but I wouldn't want to force him either. But the
right.
third, you said three things, right?
Three things.
Some food.
Some food. Okay, some food. Your man, your son, and some food.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, definitely got to bring your man.
Right.
Yeah,
You better say yeah, not play.
yeah.
No.
Um, my last question to you is with all that is going on in the world, the COVID-19, this has been a crazy year, the craziest year I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
lifetime. What do you think God is trying to tell us?
I think God is trying to get our attention. Um, I think He's saying you guys need to wake up, get yourself together. Um, a lot of people have taken life for granted, and in many ways, have taken life for granted. And He's done so many things for us all that the gratitude and being thankful is, not enough, has not been sufficient compared to all He's done.
Mhm.
And I think it's a wake up call, you
Right,
know, to say, hey, you guys wake up. I'm shaking things up around here. So some of you people that are really paying attention to me to see, what are you going to do in this environment? What are you grateful because you see what can happen and at the, out of the blue.
right,
And I want you to really think about, what's going on here. Do you want to be a victim of this? Do you want to be a survivor of this? Do you want to be great? Are you, once all this is over, are you going to be grateful for how things were before? How things,
Mhm.
we took that for granted, being able to just walk in a store and
Right.
buy.
Hmm.
You know how, think how, we weren't like, we thought that's supposed to happen. We weren't even thankful for that. Like,
Right.
now that has been taken away where you got to stand in line to go into a store and some
Right.
stuff is not even available.
Hmm.
Once we
Hmm.
get in the store now and we're able to buy some sanitizer or some tissue, we can be
Right.
thankful for it. Before,
Right.
we weren't.
Mhm.
We
Right.
weren't thankful to be able to go sit down at a restaurant and have dinner with our family
Right.
before. Now, if we can do it, we probably are thankful.
Right. Yeah. That I love that. I love that. That I love that. Just everything you just said. I love that. Just being
Yeah.
thankful and gratitude. And God
And
said, "Let me shake it up. Let me shake you guys up."
yeah, and then if you people are you're seeing people die, left and right. So many people are dying, and but you're not. It
Hmm.
doesn't even have to be because of COVID. It could be for anything.
Right.
That anything can pop up that can cause you to lose your life out of the
Right.
blue that you're not even expecting to happen.
Right.
And just be grateful that you're alive, like you said in your other episodes with about the cancer. Like that made you more grateful than you were before. You were grateful before, but it made you even more grateful,
Right. Took it to a whole nother level.
another level. And I think this takes people he's doing this to take people to another level,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they have loved ones that are dying,
Right.
and in their arms, and they never thought that would go. you know I just
Right.
recently had a cousin, 37 years old, my cousin Mario.
Mm-hmm.
He just died, like just died, passed out and died. And it wasn't for COVID, but it was something, that out of the blue. He was
Right.
young, you know.
Yeah.
So stuff like that has been happening this year. Like you said, this year has been really, really, man, this is a shake up year. And it's
Right.
2020,
Yeah.
makes you think, why was this the year chosen
Right.
for all of this, that's happening?
Yeah. Wow. I love all of this. I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, and you have to promise that you're going to come back on and educate the people on some specifics like forex trading and some of the other things that you're working on. You mentioned earlier about your mom. I know about your mom and things that you've gone through, and it would be great if maybe you came back on and maybe talked about a little bit about that. Things
Sure.
that we don't talk about, which is mental illness in our families and in our lives, and how to
Yes.
live with it and how to love with it. So, we're going to have to definitely, bring something to the people about that as well.
Yes, definitely. I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah.
Um, that is definitely an area in our community where we don't talk about it, and a lot of people, are maybe going through it silently. And I've just really started talking about, my mother's mental health, like now, and this has been
Hmm.
a 30 years, you know, publicly talking about it. This is my first time really going into a little bit more detail. This will be the beginning. Your show will be the beginning of me going into, some detail around it, because I'm pretty sure there's people out there that will be able to relate to it and have similar experiences, and want to know how to get through it.
Right. Right. Well, look at God.
Look at God.
Look
God
at
is
God.
good.
Yes.
Yes, He's
So
good.
I love you again. And,
Thanks for having me.
thank you for being part of this, Chris, being part of my journey, hanging out with me today on More Stories and giving the people some good content, educating and empowering them.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, and can't wait to do this again.
Yes. And thank you to everyone for being part of this journey with me today on More Stories, a platform where I will continue to present fascinating people with a story to tell. I leave you with this. Do not assume a single thing today. Ask yourself if there is something in your life that you need to reevaluate. Until next time, it's More Stories, y'all.